Everybody, it's your girl Evie from Because Evie Says So. I am back. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. It is 2022. I hope your holidays were everything that you needed it to be. But we're back. SVU is back. Law and Order Organized Crime is back. And that's what we're going to cover. On this channel, we cover Law and Order Organized Crime and Law and Order SVU. We're going to do it in the same style that we always do it. How did it start? What happened? Who did it? Why? How did it end? So, how did it start? Well, we get a recap about Nova talking to Sergeant Bell about Malachi, the guy that's a cyber expert that Jet actually kind of has a crush on, kind of doesn't. And we see about Angela being a major faker. Yeah, and we see that Richard is being a nemesis. So, how does it really start? What happened? So in prison, we see a white guy sitting down eating his lunch. And an inmate is trying him. You know, he's like, well, you're sitting in my seat. And he's like, he's ignoring him. He's just proceeding to eat. I don't know why this glitter is on my eyelid. Anyway, stay focused. So he's trying him about his seat. He's like, get out of my seat. And he's ignoring him. So the guy, the inmate, hits him. And they get into a brawl, they get into the fight, and the inmate is getting the best of this new guy. So the new guy actually has no one to help him. So this guy named Floyd, another inmate, comes and breaks it up and tells the guy to get off of him, that he's his, and he claims him for himself. So Floyd has seen this guy on the news. He's an admirer. He knows what he has done. We're dealing with a guy named Sebastian at this point. That's the guy that was getting his butt kicked, that Floyd actually took up for him and got the guy off. Well, he takes him under his wing, basically. Now we see a guard giving Sebastian a cup of noodles. And in the cup of noodles, when he gets back to his cell, I thought it was something inside there, you know? So inside is just a little note that says 10 p.m. on the inside of the lid. So then we start hearing at 10 p.m. alarms blaring and his door swings open. I'm sorry, are you breaking out of jail? Well, there's a riot in the prison. It looks like some other guys have gotten out too. Well, he ends up going into the hallway because he's in disbelief that he can actually get out. And he actually saves Floyd from being attacked by a guard. So he escapes through the yard using the electrical grid box. He rewires it some kind of way, and he ends up letting himself out. And he escapes into the night. Clue what happened. Well, this guy escapes prison, and now the task forces are in a meeting about the cyber guys that helped to break into the correctional facility, the prison, with the computer network, right? So I'm thinking he escaped. 5 people escaped. Really 25 got out, but only 5 are still listed as missing, right? So we know this guy is Sebastian McLean, or Constantine, who actually has a major rep as being a cyber security analyst, cracker. He's not a white hatter, black hatter, obviously, but he was a white hatter at some point in time. And we see that Jet is really interested in this guy. So they ask her, you know, what do you know about him? And she's like, yep, he's been black hat hacking, and we're going to use the task force in order to bring him in. So she investigates the script that he actually writes, the piece of code that is actually what they found, and she tries to research it, but it's so deep and in depth that even Jet can't crack this. Okay, our girl can't crack it, so who else is going to help her? You know, if she can't crack it, it definitely is some solid code. Well, we see Richard Wheatley is on a podcast show. He's on the show and he wants to talk about what's going on in his life as of now. He doesn't want to rehash the past. But this lady that's over the podcast is giving him the business. Like, she's asking him all the questions he doesn't want to answer. And she's really giving it to him. But who walks into the room? Stabler, Elliott, Elliott's following him. Elliott's like, I'm gonna watch your every move. So Elliott's there on the phone telling Sergeant Bell where he is and what he's doing. And she's like, okay, you stalking him, but I need you back up here with the crew so you can do your job, right? So Stabler has to leave to get back to the task force, but it just tickles me that he is hounding Richard, and it tickles me and it saddens me because he really believes that Richard had his wife killed, and that's why he's following him. He's following him with a vengeance, you know. So they find out that Constantine wasn't always a bad guy, that he worked for the CIA. And then his sister killed herself because she ended up owing so much money in debt to some medical bills or something of that. I don't remember exactly what it is. But she owes so much, and they were trying to collect on her. And I'm telling you, bill collectors, they are vicious. They will come after you every day, all day, Sunday. It don't matter. Well, anyway, he ended up going into the system, erasing his sister's debt and her student loans and some other people's student loans. Then he left the CIA and he hacked the Federal Reserve. But during the time that he hacked the Federal Reserve with another coder, another hacker, they actually locked the janitor in the vault. And when they locked the janitor in the vault, he suffocated to death. So someone died, you know, and that's horrible. Now, he's out on the run, right? You know, Sebastian's out, right? So he goes into this bathroom and he breaks his own nose by hitting his nose over and over onto the sink. Ew. Like, really, dude. But I guess he is a master manipulator, like Sergeant Bell said that he is. He was sent messages from the guard. So they go back to the prison. They find out that this lady prison guard is the one that's been giving him these messages. She is so fired. Like, she should be fired. She should go to jail herself. She says she never gave him anything, but she let him use her phone a couple of times. Oh, dumb. But anyway, she says that his mom was sick and he needed to call his mother. And they're like, girl, his mom been dead 7 years. And she's like, and I'm like, you're so stupid. So anyway, Sergeant Bell and Stabler go to Moon's house. Moon is this guy that Sebastian used to black hat with. He's another hacker. And they speak to him. His pregnant wife answers the door and they come in. He says he hasn't seen Sebastian in 5 years. He hasn't talked to him. He says he hasn't helped Sebastian, but he did help to take him down because he was just going too far. So his phone rings. They like, are you going to answer that? And he's like, no, there's no caller ID. I think he knows more than what he's saying. So Sergeant Bell and Stabler leave their car and they leave. But they wait for Moon to get in the car and then they follow him. Now, when they're following him, I love this little funny line that they had between Sergeant Bell and Stabler. And he's like, well, what kind of car is that? And she tells him, and she's like, this is the car that's giving Tesla competition or run for their money. And Stabler says, what's a Tesla? So Moon stops at the corner and Sebastian gets in his car and he gets out. Then he runs off. So Moon is letting Sebastian use his car. So he's in trouble now too, you know. But obviously he feels like he owes him in some kind of way or he wouldn't be doing that. And what he said when they were in his kitchen is that the reason why that he needed to take Sebastian down is because Sebastian had gotten so popular, has so many followers, and could do so much damage that killing him isn't the worst thing that he could do to him. That he could completely ruin him, ruin his family, ruin his kids, basically with all this cyber nonsense, right? So a truck is conveniently in the way in the chase of Sebastian, who is now in this car, and Elliott is driving. So he's like, move your busted truck. Anyway, so so they stop the car. The car keeps jerking forward like it's going to hit the police, right? Because they're surrounded this car. And now they're like, get out of the car, get on the ground. And the car is just jerking forward. And I'm thinking, oh, he's finna run over Elliott, right? So they finally get the car to come to a stop and they open the door There ain't nobody in there. There's nobody driving. This car is driving itself. Or should I say, Sebastian is driving this car from a remote location. So they've been chasing this car, and all the time he done ducked out around the corner about a block, maybe 2 blocks back. So they wasting their time. Wow. So this guy is able to he's able to manipulate operating systems, prison systems, the Federal Reserve, the CIA, student loan. Can you come cancel my student loans? No. He wants to make amends to the janitor's family because the janitor died, like I told you guys earlier, and he really didn't mean for that to happen. Because when he was in prison, when he was talking to Floyd and Floyd was admiring him for what he had done, he said, well, someone died. It's not funny. So that lets you know that he has remorse for what he's done. Well, Jet comes in with the code, and of course she doesn't know it. She says that Constantine did not write that line of code when she's talking to the other coders in the police department to try to figure it out. They can't figure it out. She can't figure it out. She's like, yeah, just give me some time. They're like, no, we ain't got time. So they call in who? So who? They call in Adam Mantock. Yep, that's right. The guy that she doesn't like, or as his hacker known is Malachi. Now he's making passports. They go to his house. She breaks in because she knows how to do it, you know. So she's trying to figure out where he is because he's supposed to be on the ankle bracelet. He's supposed to be in there. And I'm thinking, okay, he's in there. He's laying down. He's in the bed somewhere. He doesn't hear her. No. She's like, she looks around and she finds out that the cat has on his ankle bracelet. Just at that time, he comes to the door. He's got Kamiko, this girl or whatever that he's with, that he's come in the house, and he's like, don't you knock? And she's like, you're doing some illegal stuff here. You finna go right back to jail. So, you know, he says, well, I actually work with a network of abused women, and that's why you see these passports, because I'm trying to get them out of the situations that they're in. And I thought, okay, that's noble. Okay, I like him again. So Richard Wheatley is one that's going to be working with the FBI because they're asking him for help. Why? Well, Sergeant Brewster is sorry because he tells Elliott and Sergeant Bell to come to this meeting, and to their surprise, who's in the room? Richard. Now, he could have told them about that, but they wouldn't have come, and he knew it. So here comes Richard. He says he's being stalked by a stabler. So Richard is helping the FBI. They told him that, you know, they needed his help. And Elliott plays it so cool. He's like, okay, I ain't worried about it. I'll pick you up at 4. So just be somewhere where I can pick you up, because you're not going to tell me where you're really staying. So just be there at 4, wherever you're going to be. Give me an address and I'll pick you up. So, so then we see that these guys are from Saratov, Russia, the actual hackers. But is that really where they are at this point? So Stabler goes to the restaurant. He meets with Angela. She is so faking. I can't not wait till he finds out that she's faking. So Angela says she wouldn't tell him about Richard even if she did know where he was, because he says, well, you know, what's Richard been up to? And she's like, I wouldn't tell you. You guys threw me out of witness protection. I had no protection against my husband after I testified for you guys in open court, and you just threw me out. So Elliott assures her he did believe her in court. He really did. She says she doesn't know of Constantine when he asked her, does she know anything about Sebastian or Constantine? And I know that she's faking. She must know. He asked her to be careful because he legitimately is concerned that Richard may do something to her. So he gets up and he's like, take care of yourself. He gets ready to pay the bill because she's ordered a cappuccino. He said he was going to pay for it. So as he takes the money out, he tries to knock the water over in the glass. She catches the water. She catches the glass that has the water. So, he thinks so too. He thinks she's faking. So he's like, we're witnessing a miracle. And he walks out. He's so smart. But of course, he's had years of experience to be so smart. So then we cut to Congressman Kilbride, who's holding a meeting about a new library that he's opening. And he's helping to build this in the community that he grew up in. Now he's being photographed by Sergeant Bell. She's taking pictures of whomever he's hugging around the place so she can get information because she knows something, remember? So Nova tells Kilbride he needs to get to his next appointment because he's now assigned her as his aide. So next we see that Nova is meeting with Sergeant Bell and telling her that Preston Webb is in on this. I hope Nova doesn't end up dead, like Gina, because these meetings, somebody's going to end up following her. I mean, I'm really nervous for her. But anyway, so later we see Congressman Kilbride back at the library site at night. And this guy, Julius, who he was hugging earlier, he's paying him some money. But not only is he paying him some money, Kilbride is there to tell these guys that minority contractors end up getting business each year due to them protesting before, and they can get this business, not just regular contractors. So he says, that's great. You guys are all hired. But what I want you to do is, I want you to not finish building the library. And they're like, what? Yeah. He's like, I want you to make sure that Webb keeps asking for more money from the government. I don't care if you have to say it snowed. We need more money is what he's saying. So basically, he's trying to milk money out of the government for this library. Since they're giving it away, he figures I'm going to get the most I can. So anyway, we cut back to Richard. So Richard is aware that Malachi may not be on the up and up. So Richard says Stabler is a smart man. So he actually gave him a compliment. Anyway, so Jet tries to get the information that the hackers are putting out. But when she breaks into the hacker system, he hacks them right back. And now they want $500,000 to keep from doing the same thing to another prison and another prison and another prison. They're going to riot. They're going to get out. So Krunabog is the Slavic name for the god of chaos, small g. Well, they've hacked everything. And Richard says, well, we should pay them. We'll use my cryptocurrency. I'll be able to geotag it and trigger an alert if they get to using it when they convert it to regular money. So he pays them the ransom out of his cryptocurrency. They receive the money. They find out because someone takes $800 immediately out of the ATM in Queens. Because he's geotagged it, they can find out. So Richard's smart. I love him, even though he's the bad guy. So they get to the house where the person is taking the $800 out. Shots are fired, and Stabler and Maldonado rush around the back. They tag the guy, they get him. Wheatley hired Martinez, who then he sold out. That's what I'm thinking. So the guy that they tagged on the ground, the guy that they took down with the $800 from the ATM, I believe that Richard hired him. And I guess Stabler does too. So Richard meets with Sebastian in an undisclosed location. They bring Sebastian in with a hood over his face. And I'm thinking that that's his basement, that's Richard's basement, his wine cellar. Because in comes Angela with a bottle of wine too. And she ain't on no cane either. She just walking plain as day. Faker. So anyway, Sebastian and him met on the prison bus when he was going to Rikers. So Richard and Sebastian are friends. Well, not friends, but they know each other. So they have dinner and they talk. They say that they're going to keep him moving since he's the most wanted man in America. So what does Richard really want with this guy? I don't know. I mean, this guy can hack everything, seems like. And in the hands of Richard, that's got to be pretty bad. So Elliott's like, man starts fire, and he's going to prove it. Because what he's saying is that Richard is the one that set this up. He started the fire, and then he wants to throw a stick and hide it behind his back and say he didn't do it. Well, that's too bad. Because Elliott is now a man with a bone to pick with Richard yet again. So now what's going to happen? I don't know, but now it's going to be good. And then what's Angela's play in this? Is she in charge? Is Richard just her stooge? Is she over everything? I don't know. But he's going to prove it. So if you like the content that you've seen today, please consider subscribing. I cover Law & Order SVU and Law & Order Organized Crime. It's going to be good. You guys do not want to miss it. We are back in effect. I'm so glad. We're going to be going on a short break, probably after this next episode, but look forward to me having some guests, me doing some collaborations about SVU. It could be you. If you want to do a collab with me, let me know. I'd love to talk to you guys about SVU or organized crime. Until my next video, Law and Order on.